I like this setup.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Poker table, you said it's the first time, right?
Yes,
You know what?
time.
The stakes are high with this podcast.
this
Yes.
again with the dad jokes.
Hey, Anthony, where'd you get this podcasting stuff from?
It fell off the back of a truck. We're back on the Breaking Bread podcast, and we have a new look, in case you haven't noticed. I'm here with my co-host, Sal the Voice.
Welcome to the World Poker Tour.
And we're here with a very special guest today, CBS's and IFTV's Marco Messina. Welcome to the show.
What's up, boys?
How you doing, Mark?
I like this setup.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Poker table, you said it's the first time, right?
Yes,
You
first
know what?
time.
The stakes are high with this podcast.
Yes.
Again with the dad jokes.
Yeah.
You had a bunch already that you leaned into.
Well, we were talking about a very dad topic. You were talking about driving in snow.
Is that a dad
And
topic?
That is a very dad topic.
Damn,
I
I'm
feel.
getting
I feel
old.
like every time you talk about driving in weather conditions, there is a father out there
Are we getting to that age now?
who's willing to give you unwarranted advice.
I refuse
well,
to believe it.
When you start sliding, you got to steer into it.
Yeah,
I feel like I've heard that from every uncle in my family.
I'm having a panic attack because I turned 30 next week. And
wow.
I feel so old.
Oh, you're
So
you're
we're all the
1995
same
too.
age.
95.
Yeah.
Are we all 95?
We're
Yeah.
all turning 30.
Yeah.
Damn, but mine's next week.
Oh boy.
Not good.
How
When are
does
you
that
guys?
feel?
Not
September
good.
for me, and you're
August.
right before.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Long time, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. So how do you feel about it? It's the big 3-0. I'm actually kind of excited.
Don't lie to yourself.
Really?
You don't have to do that.
I'm not.
Really?
You're not, right?
No.
I'm
Of course
kind
not.
of excited. Maybe because I feel like I don't know if this is a broad statement, and I don't want to. I'm gonna kind of knock on wood. I feel like my life's a lot better now.
It's fair.
Well, yeah, but
Fair.
I feel like the other edge to that sword is the fact that I'm supposed to retire by the time I'm 60 years old. You know,
Fair enough.
here we are halfway to it.
Yeah, I don't think about that.
Well, that kind of depresses me.
Yeah.
I knew I'd get you.
Thanks for another one.
Damn it.
What's your big beef with 30?
Just everything. I feel like I was always like the younger guy. You know, I was like the guy that
Oh,
brought
yeah.
energy, and then I got to tell people I'm
The guy
30
in his
years old.
20s.
Yeah, starting to lose my hair a little bit. My body, I got to go to sleep early. I don't recover like before.
I
don't
thought
like
you
that.
were younger, honestly.
Thanks.
No,
Well, that's good.
Yeah, no, because you have a
See?
high energy. Like I'm just like, oh my god, I have a podcast this morning, and I
Really?
take two like. I was excited, obviously, but
Take
like
two what?
shots of espresso.
That's it? I thought you were going to say something worse because you stopped speaking.
Shots of espresso.
I take a couple of Adderall.
Yeah.
Right.
Nah, you can't do any of that.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. But yeah, everybody tries to tell me your life gets better in your 30s. So I'm
Is that
leaning
right?
into that.
Everyone said, well, that's why I was kind of excited. Like, you're finally making a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You like, you probably have a car. You probably have things going for you. I would hope. Like, that's what goes through my head.
Oh, at 30?
Yeah.
Like these are the things that you should have done by 30?
But then
Gary
there's that
Vee would hate
expectation
me, but-
too. You're
Yeah.
married. So are you married? Or
No, no.
you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see? It's like I'm the disappointment of the family.
No. But I feel like it's different, nowadays.
Is
that
it?
you can get
Agreed.
married and have children older. Because our
Agreed.
life expectancy is longer.
Okay. Is that
You
how it
know?
works?
We're making it a little farther.
Okay.
So
But still, now it's like for real. It's like, are you 30? Start to get your shit together.
You know what? And I don't think you're ever ready for any of that anyway. No matter how young or old you are.
When did
it's
you get
gonna
married?
happen. I got married, it'll be 2 years next month in March. And I've been a homeowner for a year.
Okay. See, like you're 30,
Okay.
man. That's
Yeah.
30s.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near that.
I'm
Yeah, but it's
I'm
also
trying to catch up
terrifying.
with Sal too.
I know.
It's a terrifying ordeal now.
That's what I'm saying. You're ready for your
To
30s.
have so many people and things counting on you.
And you have a dog.
Exactly.
And a dog.
Oh, that's a lot of responsibility.
It's not a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
not a kid.
Fair.
You know?
What kind of dog is that?
It's a Yorkie.
Okay.
10 pounds of fury.
Really?
Yeah, fire and fury.
Yorkies are
Yeah.
crazy.
It's nuts.
I have a Morkie at home. He's up all night. He's like an animal. I love him to death. I would die for him, but he is like a beast inside of a little 8-pound dog.
See, I don't even have a dog. How am I turning 30 before you guys? Married, dog, girlfriend, wives.
I mean,
Well, I feel like at this age, our parents and grandparents already had like several children and,
Oh, for sure.
that's true.
and 2 jobs. And,
At like 18 years old.
Yeah,
already
yeah,
have-
yeah.
Since I was 17, no joke. I was Sicilian. My father's side is Sicilian. My
Just the good
Sicilian
side.
grandmother I think she's been asking me since I was 16 years old, when am I having kids and when am I having a wife? And now I just lean into the opposite. I'm like, it's never going to happen, just to, get
I was
them off
just
my
about
back.
to ask you that because I feel like, not too long ago, I'm going to say maybe like a year ago, like my nonno started to ask those questions, and I was like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, I had 3 kids by the time I was your age.
You guys are lucky. It's
different
just your
time.
grandparents. It's my entire fan base that's constantly asking.
Your fan base?
Yeah, they're all.
Why are they asking?
Wait,
It's a-
asking for kids?
It's a
Hey,
lot
leave
of
me alone.
people the same age as my parents and your grandparents. So
Oh.
they're always
true.
asking,
Got
always
you.
asking.
Does it get
when
to
are you
you?
gonna have kids? I'm like, well, I'm damn near ready for it. I mean,
So when are you
know.
going to have kids?
Baby voice.
Come on, Sal. You're turning 30 in August.
Do you know I'm in this house almost a year and I'm still not done. I know everyone's saying you're never going to be done with your house, but I mean, like, I fly to Canada for the weekend and then come back and switch my nice clothes for rags and start working on the basement or whatever.
Yeah.
I will say we were talking before about what keeps us connected to our heritage and to the people who emigrated here for a better life. Because in America, we're not as well connected with our ancestry, with our heritage,
Yep.
as much as they are in Italian Canada, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm a lot like my father and my grandfather, and both my grandfathers and my uncles and everything, is that I'm trying to do all the work in my house myself, and it's not just a pride thing. And I realize that I've been closer to my heritage now more than ever, because I can't stand to pay somebody to do something
That is the most Southern Italian thing I've ever heard.
that I could screw up 3 times and still get out ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've gone through that a million times where I said to myself, if my grandpa, who came here with $10 in his pocket, knew what I was spending to get somebody to do something that I should probably be able
Right.
to do,
Yeah.
he would disown me. But then what's funny is he passed away a couple years ago.
Sorry.
Like 2020. And we were going through his house. And, like, of course, you got to start fixing stuff. You can't just leave an empty house.
No.
So we start moving stuff in his garden, his backyard, and we're pulling things out. He's got, like, a freaking shovel that's in the dirt. And you say to yourself, this for sure doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden you realize it's connected to, like, the integrity of the foundation of this house. Like, you pull this and things just start falling apart. The fence is no longer good. You move one wire. So they did everything themselves. My grandpa was so crazy. He didn't want to buy even a security system. He looked at other people around the neighborhood and looked how it looked like, and then was getting duct tape and doing the exact same logo as it, just so that he didn't have
He
to pay
just
for it.
mimicked it.
He mimicked it.
to make believe he had.
Yes, literally.
That is so accurate. That's so
great.
Sicilian. That is
Yeah.
so Sicilian.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? That generation was smart. They were like, oh, we have to do it ourselves.
Self-sufficient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They didn't ask anyone for help.
No.
I took the opposite approach. Like, I can't explain it. We used to call my nonno to, like, do everything because my dad, he's, like, handy, but not as handy as my nonno was. I took the opposite approach. Like, I pay people to do everything because I say to myself, I'm gonna do it fucked up.
Me too.
I know what's gonna come. Like,
I'm
I put
the same
things
way.
on backwards. I think I'm dyslexic. Like, I don't even know.
We probably are.
Yeah.
Listen, I was the same way. I didn't know anything about, home improvement or carpentry or anything like that. But my dad was like, listen, you're going to buy all the tools used. So if you break them, it doesn't matter. Right? We went on Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace.
Bought saws and
Facebook
everything.
Marketplace is great.
The
Yeah,
best.
it's
Facebook
I
Marketplace.
got a
is
Vespa
great.
off Facebook Marketplace.
That's,
You get everything.
that's
That's
nice
cool.
for me, by the way. I want
want
a
a
Vespa to
motorcycle.
ride into town.
It's the best.
No,
One of the
not
best
a
decisions.
motorcycle, a Vespa.
Exactly.
That thing is a motorcycle.
40
I went to
miles an
Naples.
hour.
I went to Naples and I almost killed myself on one of those.
You gotta. I have
Literally
rules.
killed
I have
myself.
rules. I don't
Yeah.
do a highway.
Yeah.
And I don't go when it's dark out.
I seen
Fair
people on
enough.
the Belt Parkway in scooters.
Those are good rules, though. I
On
mean,
the-
because that's where the accidents happen.
Exactly. But it's the best thing. At least my area, there's no parking anywhere, so you could pull up. You leave it on the
For Bay Ridge,
sidewalk.
that's freaking phenomenal.
Yo, it's the best. Feel better.
Speaking of your grandfather and your father, who's still working and
Yeah.
self-made man,
Yeah.
you have done something very, very different. You have a career out of it. You're working. You're with CBS Television now, and of course, the podcast itself does well. What does your family think when you're like, "This is what I'm doing now"?
So early on,
Yeah.
early days. So I was a good kid, but I was kind of like the rebel kid. I always questioned everything. Always, my entire life. I got kicked out of Catholic school at one point. Not for being a bad kid, because I had my hair too long. And they're like,
Really?
you guys
Catholic
can have
school,
their hair long. I did it because Italy won the World Cup in 2006, and they all got long hair. So like this just to set the stage, and everybody in my whole life is like, just cut your hair. Just be the normal kid. Just follow the rules. So that's to say, my family, everybody but my mom was against what I wanted to do. My mom was the only one. She didn't understand it, but she's like, all right, he's a good kid. He'll figure it out. Always, no matter what. My dad, old school Sicilian guy, and it's not his fault, but he was just like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Don't do this. I was working in real estate. I was working in real estate, going to school, going to university. And he was like, you're on such a good path. You're 18 years old. You're working in real estate. You're making money. Just keep doing this. I was like, Dad, every day I get home from real estate, because it's Saturday and Sundays, that's when all the Serie A games are. I said, I'm depressed. And it's the first time, because the way we grew up, and it makes so much sense from them. Whatever job you do, you make money. That's the most important thing.
True.
And then you have kids. You go on, you buy a house, you buy a nice car. And it's the first time I realized, and thank God I realized that at like 17 years old, I looked at the money that I had on that weekend, after that weekend, doing really well. I said, this didn't make me happy. I didn't know what Juventus did. I didn't know Milan lost a guy or lost a player and sold somebody. And I said to myself, screw this. I don't care. I'm going to go down with the ship no matter what happens. I want to try to do something myself. I want to try to do something in soccer. And so that side didn't like it. And he was absolutely right. My dad told me at one point, you're making the worst decision of your life. And he was right in telling me that it was the worst decision, because for him, how can it make sense? I'm going to be posting news on Twitter. I'm going to be recording videos in my grandpa's garage and put it on YouTube.
Right.
Of course. How would that make sense to any
Thinking,
logical
how are you going
person?
to make a career
Yeah.
in soccer without playing soccer?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know. I was stupid. And I'm just going to keep going. And then, it paid off. But that side, most of my family didn't like it, but they still supported me. It's not like they kicked me out. My mom still fed me, and she supported me like no other. But yeah, it was definitely big disagreements.
Did you
early on.
play throughout your childhood years?
I always played.
Of course, yeah.
Always
High school,
played.
college, all
yeah,
that?
Yeah. Then I played in a youth tournament in Viareggio in Italy, and all the big players play in this youth tournament. We represented New York. We're the only
So you
team
must
from
have
the
been
United
really
States.
good. I mean, to play in the tournament.
I was good. But like, what's good? It's like a Serie C or Serie B level. We were playing against the teams that go on to the future. So like the Juventus second team, the Napoli. We played against Napoli and Hellas Verona, and a lot of the guys, they play in Serie A now. But I remember getting there, and it was a wake up call. I played, and I was a captain of the team. I worked my ass off. I worked so hard to get into that team, like the max that I could do, and I was barely surviving on the pitch. And I had to have an honest conversation with myself. I said, "You're young. You're not going to make it. Like, these kids all are so much better than you, and most of them still won't make it to the top level. You got 10 guys that make it." And I said, if I'm not going to be the best at something, I'm not just going to throw my life away and try to play in second or third division in Italy. What am I going to do like that?
It takes
That's
balls to say that, man.
I was going to say.
It takes a lot of balls.
For someone who loves the sport, that's a tremendous level of self-awareness. To
Yeah.
say, I'm not that good. I'm good, but I'll never be this good.
I knew I would have. I said if I worked as hard as I possibly could, maybe I could play in Serie B.
Yeah.
Do I really want to spend my entire life working in Serie B? And then I made my mind, the way it works, I just use probabilities. What's more likely? I said it's probably more likely that I could do something more impactful in the media space because I had a Twitter, I had a YouTube. That's probably more likely than it is for me to become a player and become an important player.
So that's how you start with a YouTube channel.
Yes.
I love it. And you saw something that was clearly happening in our culture, because now everyone and their mothers trying to do it.
Right. This is a while ago.
Yeah.
This is 2015. I think I had a Twitter account like right when Twitter opened, 2013, 2014. Whatever.
So you saw the writing on the wall 100%. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people thought it was, to tweet about your girlfriend leaving you, or to tweet about high school who
We find
subbed
some
who.
appropriate song
Yeah.
lyrics for this.
Yeah. But no, you
People are
saw the
gonna go
writing on the
nuts.
wall.
I
And
used to get mad at people that used to do that too. Like some of my friends, because I was never the type that I was like, I'm not going to go into my high school and be like, oh, guys, you got to follow me. I was like, I don't even want you guys. Like, you're talking about gossip and
yeah.
all the BS that's going on.
That's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's not what I'm
You're
looking
for people who love
Exactly.
football.
Exactly.
The real football.
the
Yeah.
real football.
So I was
It
that
pains
weird.
me to say that, but
There's a meteoric rise from the
Yeah.
start of your YouTube channel to where you're at now.
big time.
But where the hell do we get the name soccer from? Why are we the only country?
So actually, in I think it's
great question.
Australia. Australia, they call it soccer as well, and I think New Zealand. There's a few countries that call it soccer. Soccer actually comes from a word in England, and I'm gonna butcher the reasoning. I always heard about it, but basically, they took association of football, and then they cut out half of the word, and they got soccer from it. Yeah, we got to put like an explainer in here. I don't remember why, but it really came from England, and then they kept football, and we took soccer.
Should we ask AI? I'm kind of
Probably
curious.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary on it, and I can't remember the exact reason. But it's not. We didn't invent it. America didn't invent the word soccer. We took it from England, but then they changed their word and they kept football.
I didn't know that.
I think we gotta bring that back, or at least call it
not
American
possible.
football versus
not possible.
football.
Yo, you can't change American football here.
No, and
massive.
it's something completely different. The foot is only involved when turning over the ball. It's
Doesn't
a
make
very
sense.
yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
It does like you can't use your foot
You
in any
can't.
other part of the game than turning over the ball.
When I was a young kid, I used to just love to fight with all of my American friends around me. They'd
Yeah.
be like, you're playing wrong football. And I would be like, you don't understand. We're the real football. If you go around the world, everybody says.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Football,
That's
soccer,
why I
yeah.
say it. You're absolutely correct.
Are you guys American football fans? NFL fans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
love it.
had the
love
same
NFL.
realization that you had in high school. I got my ass handed to me during a championship football game and had the tendons in my ankle ripped apart.
Really?
And I was like so upset because the injury would end my season. And my mother said, "Take a look at yourself. Are you really going to be in the NFL? Think about it. Think about it really, really, really hard." She goes, "Because I am sure there is a line of 100,000 kids from Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Texas in front of you to get to become the towel boy on an NFL team."
They make good money. Water boys in the NFL make 40 grand a year for half a season to show up on a Sunday.
Not bad.
That's
I
the
mean-
same argument I came up with for my mother when she said, "Oh, if you don't go to school, you're going to become a garbage man." When I found out how much city sanitation
Yeah.
workers make, I was like, "Come on."
Everybody in my area, you come to Dyker Heights where I grew up, everybody wanted to be a garbage man, a union worker,
Yeah, union
electrician.
jobs.
Everybody.
job.
Oh my
I feel
God,
like
my
everybody.
dad begged me.
All the women are either nurses or they work in a school, and the guys are in sanitation or electrician, something with your hands. It's a great job. Makes sense.
It's true, and it's really funny that you said that because I guess you could say your arc is kind of similar to mine, where and Sal's as well. I wanted to be in football, like the American football, and I got into the media side of it. I didn't ever like myself on camera, so I didn't take that realm. But I got into like I guess you could say the reporting side of it, and it was interesting, like seeing how social media played like a role, and like, I wish I would have seen it then. What you saw? It took me a little longer to figure it out, but you were definitely like head of the game.
I was lucky too. I was very lucky. If you think about it, I was very niche too. Not that many. There wasn't that many people. Serie A is not the biggest league in the world. Everybody likes the Premier League.
noticed
when I was
that.
growing up, they like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United. That's what everyone was talking about. So if I would have went into it like you were with the NFL, and I just did it for the Premier League, I don't think I would have been able to stand out. I think I was really niche because I was the only one doing it for Italian football in English. Like that didn't
so
really
it's
exist.
Very specific.
And now the league is growing a lot, and now CBS has the rights. But back then, it was impossible to watch the games. My grandpa used to watch it on Rye. You couldn't even see the game. Even if you looked at it from here, it was so
great.
blurry.
Rye is
Yeah.
so blurry.
It's impossible
and,
to
like,
watch. And you got one game. You didn't choose what
The
game. Now
sound
you-
was awful, and it was all in Italian.
Exactly.
So if you didn't speak Italian fluently,
Exactly.
you could follow the game with your eyes. But I
it was
remember
only,
watching
it was only geared towards you had to be an Italian American. They didn't expand their horizons. Now you go on Paramount Plus, you could choose whatever game you want. You could watch all the games
true.
at the same time. So I was lucky in that sense that the technology didn't lead up to it, but I had started a lot earlier. And again, niche. I think when you're niche, everyone told me, "Oh, it's too small." But actually, when you go really small,
Yeah.
you could stand out in that group. And it's kind of like underpriced real estate. We're just talking about our areas that we are. If you get a house, back in the day, my dad used to tell me Williamsburg was nothing. He's like, nobody
Yeah.
wanted to buy a house here. But if you would have bought a house there, look how much it is now.
My mother says to everyone, she goes, I can't, we lived on Kenmare. She goes, I can't afford to live in the, said, I can't afford an apartment
Yeah.
in the piece of shit house that we grew up in.
see?
You know?
True.
Shit
that we
changes.
sold for pennies.
Exactly.
But you go after something, and like you said, an underserved community that's looking for that. How soon after you make that decision does it start to pay off? How soon after you go after that niche, do you prove those people who said you're too pinholed wrong?
Not soon at all. Took
Yeah.
forever. Dude, it took forever. Only in the last 5 years, I would say. And I had started when I was in high school.
You said 2015?
2015 is
started.
When he
is
started.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like when I started on Twitter, but it wasn't a business yet or
Yeah.
anything. I was just like I was just throwing my name out there. I was like translating Italian to English and throwing out news that really nobody cared about. But then you just learn. Like you do something like, all right, people don't care about that. Transition, do this a little bit differently. But I had the huge benefit of time. I was very lucky that I started early. I started in high school and then college, because for me, college was not important for what I was going to learn in school, but it bought me 4 years of being able to post videos on YouTube.
If you're going to school, the expectation is a little lower. You could work on your extracurriculars.
Exactly. I went
No one's looking for you to be a millionaire yet.
Exactly. Bravo. For me, that was it. I went to school for business. I didn't go for school for TV or media or anything.
Right.
I was just like, I don't know. I'm figuring this out on the side. And luckily, I got a really good scholarship because it's not the biggest school.
Mark, I dropped out of school right
Did
in
you?
the middle of it. I was at St. John's. Again, great scholarship. That's how I was going to college. It was like, all right, you got to pay for it. I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like school, but I'll go if you pay for it. And my grades were good enough in Catholic high school, and I did enough charitable works
There we go.
that St. John's was like, we'll throw you a few dollars if you come to church a couple times a week.
A few dollars.
Right? And I remember telling my parents, like, I'm going to leave school to go after this. This is happening. And they were like, are you fucking nuts?
To get into singing.
Yeah.
And they were.
Oh,
reaction.
absolutely against it. I mean, listen, they were
Why'd you have to drop out,
supportive
though?
Because I was
Why couldn't you do both?
St. John's wouldn't allow me to travel all over the world and still attend classes at the time. 2016, 2017. Now St. John's offers plenty of online curriculum, and the idea has been tossed around to go back and get my degree. But for what? I love what I do.
Why waste the
Yeah.
money? I mean, I hate to be. Look, I'm proud that I went to school. I'm proud that I got like a bachelor's, and I'm proud that I got a master's. I was just talking to Sabrina about this. Like, at the end of the day, I really could have done this without it. Like, yes, everything is like a stepping stone. I use things I learn every single day, and that's the truth, and it's worth every red cent. But my perspective on school has honestly changed. I feel like those days are over where it's like, you're going to go to school and get a great job. Like, it really doesn't work that way anymore.
Mm-hmm. But dropping out's tough.
Oh, yeah.
Dropping out would have been the nail in the coffin for me. I would have been murdered.
Well, it's
Murdered.
No, genuinely,
what-
they might prefer that
what fuels
to know what
that-
happens.
What fuels that is fear. That's why you have to be fearless to go after a career in media or entertainment.
Yeah, see, but my fear was I wouldn't have dropped out for me. But again, we're obviously completely different in terms of where we went to do. I didn't need to travel all around the world. But that's so interesting. Where did you get the idea of I had to drop out? Do you remember like where you were when you made the decision?
Yeah, I was in California, and I was like, it was
Great
August.
place to make it.
It was August, and things were going well, and I had no idea what my status would be towards the end of that season of America's Got Talent.
This is when you were in America's Got
Oh
Talent?
yeah, it was
Oh, okay.
August, and they were like, I'm getting emails. You got to register for classes or return your laptop, and I was like, I remember thinking to myself like, I didn't have anything booked at that time, but I knew something in me knew like, okay, there is no way I'm going back to school.
I got
this year.
goosebumps, man. I got goosebumps. I love this.
I registered online, right, for classes because my mother was like, you got to register for classes. And then I remember my first gig was September 16th. It's a week after classes started. And it was in Boca Raton, Florida. And I remember thinking, well, this is never going to work. Because then the next week I was booked somewhere, and the next week I was booked somewhere else. The next week I was booked somewhere else. I said, this isn't going to work.
Wow.
They're not going to let me go to Jamaica during finals week for a wedding. You know, I'm done. That's it. I went to the registrar's office. I said, thank you, but I'm leaving. One woman in the registrar's office in particular, this woman, Darlene, sweetheart of a lady.
You still remember the name?
Of course. I still keep in touch with her. She comes to my
that's
shows
nice.
frequently.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And I remember going to her and saying, I think I have to, withdraw from classes at least this semester. And she looked at me and said, congratulations.
Really?
It wasn't like, she says, it'll always be here for you. Your
Yeah,
credits
exactly.
will always exist. You could always come back.
Wow.
But congratulations.
Wow.
In other words, you go to school to to hopefully get into a career and find something that's going to support yourself and your family, for posterity.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an aha moment on television in front of millions of people where it clicked for me. And I said, oh, this is my self-realization moment.
Was that the moment that we all know, like the first moment that you were on America's Got Talent?
Face you see me make and those tears that you see me cry are very real. And that statement, this is the first day of the rest of my life, was just what I felt in that moment. This is what I was born to do. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to go after this.
I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
One, because I love these stories. This is fuel. I have a bunch of, all the people that I surround myself with are people like this that take the leap because they just inspire me. When the whole crowd stands up and you got the whole desk that's cheering your name and saying, Heidi gives you the button, right? How good did that feel inside?
I remember being so overwhelmed with emotion and coming off stage and going to Tommy and saying, I feel like I really did something. I know I just did something, but I feel like a new feeling that I've never felt before. I want to say it's a sense of accomplishment, but I haven't accomplished anything. It's just, and he says, oh, you're proud of yourself. It's pride. And I went, whoa. It was the first time in my life that I knew who I was, what I was going to do. Because, you're growing up, like you said, you picked business as your major in school because you really didn't know what you wanted to do. You were like, I'm gonna do this because it's a choice on the path to take, and I'm gonna get the piece of paper, and then whatever happens after that happens after that. And I was in the same boat. I was very unsure of the future. But that moment and all the minutes and hours and months and years after that was what I needed to say, okay, this is it. And even in the times where it was lean, I knew this is what I wanted to do. Money immediately did not matter.
Maybe. Was that the moment and maybe why you felt so perplexed, why you were feeling this? Because finally, what you saw inside about yourself, what you knew about yourself your whole life, finally the rest of the people understood. And I don't know this, but maybe it was the first time that your mom, your parents, they were like, man, maybe this kid's not that crazy after all.
No, my mother still doesn't get it.
No?
No. But she's very proud, but she don't get it.
No.
Gotta love it.
I tell you what,
gotta
more than that, it was that feeling that was in me that finally people
Exactly.
were confirming it.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
The reaction of the crowd
Yes.
and crowds thereafter is what solidifies.
Finally, everyone else sees what I've seen the whole time.
Yeah, we're 9 years out. Tomorrow night, I'm at the Westbury Music Fair, which is a venue that my grandparents went and saw Sinatra at in
Oh, wow.
1975,
Love that story.
and it's a hometown show. It's a local venue, right? And I got 2,000 people coming to see me,
Wow.
and that for me is all the you're doing a good job. That's all the pat on the back that I need,
Yeah. Do you know Russ at all? You know the rapper Russ?
Russ?
Russ.
I feel like I've heard.
Just Russ.
RUSS?
RUSS. This guy,
Phenomenal.
This guy got me through so much of like what we're talking about
Yeah.
during that pain period. He's self-made artist. Now he's massive. He sold out. What did he just sell out? Maybe MSG or something. I saw him when he only had like maybe a couple hundred people in the crowd. He's got a book. His music all talks about just like self-belief and working on yourself and this belief that you have inside that the world sometimes doesn't catch up and see. You would love. I can't believe you never heard of Russ. You got to listen to his podcast, listen to his music, his old stuff. He is
check it out.
Phenomenal. Anytime I'm like doubting myself or I have a rough day or I need to get through, like you said, you needed this podcast, I listen to Russ. He is amazing. He's one of those rappers that talks about real stuff. Like that's what he raps about.
I love that. I gotta check him out.
Speaking of belief and manifest, my wife is very, very big into manifestation. What is your vision now? What is next for you? What is the big picture and the next step forward?
So I know manifest for a lot of people, it sounds, like magic.
It sounds nuts.
Like a potion.
No,
and
it's definitely not.
It is, in a
You
sense.
can will it to life.
I think the biggest thing that never gets talked about is you can't just think about it. You got to put in the action every single day. So it's not manifest, I'm going to sit on this couch and believe that you're going to get there.
I'm going to put it on my vision board.
That's potion.
Vision board.
That's magic. No, you got to have that in the back of your mind while also doing the work every single day.
Right.
Like you got to have both. So I think that's what people get wrong with that. And I would say I never knew where I was going. When I started, I never knew where I was going to go. I always knew that I was just going to follow a path. I was going to do what was right for myself. I love Serie A. It sounds so weird to me that I have this love for the Italian soccer league, but there's so much history and culture, and it's my relation to my grandfather that we used to sit and watch the games and fight and scream at each other. He used to live upstairs from us, and when Inter would score, he'd take his cane and hit the floor, and then when Juventus would score, I'd jump on the couch and I'd hit the ceiling, and like I'd have American friends over, and they'd be like, what the hell is going on? They thought my grandpa fell, he was going crazy, but that's what this league brings me back to. It brings me back to my father putting me in front of a TV, waking me up in the morning, giving me espresso and saying, this is what we do on Sundays.
Yeah.
And I want to spread that to as many people.
Real fan.
I love it.
I want the Serie A to be the best league. I do. Like England here, you could go into a bar in Williamsburg and find people that are wearing like an Everton jersey. Everton is like a nothing team, like a little team. But the Premier League did so much great work. The English Soccer League did so much great work in the early 2000s to promote itself in America that all these people that don't even know the teams that are not connected to England all fell in love with the sport. And that league is massive. It's the number one league in United States and all over the world. In Italy, we made the opposite. We did the opposite. We kept it contained. It had to only be for Italians in Italy. We don't want to go abroad. Why do we need people in America to watch it? Which is the opposite.
We don't want their opinion.
Big mistake.
It's the opposite mentality because Italy used to be the best. We used to be the best league. So really my goal, and again, it sounds silly when I say it out loud, but I just want to do everything to try to tell the stories of that league, wherever it takes me, whether it's on CBS, which I'm doing right now and I love, whether it's with IFTV and our podcast that we have, and we've worked with the league in the past, and they opened an office here in New York.
That was my follow-up question. Is the league now recognizing the awareness that you are bringing, IFTV is bringing to Serie A?
So that was probably the first break we had. Even before I started working with CBS, the league changed a lot. A lot of the old school guys started to leave, and we made a deal with them to help promote the league here.
A deal with Serie A?
Country, yeah.
That's huge.
So that was amazing. Just to get that recognition, it was kind of like the America's Got Talent moment for us, where I was like, this is what I've been saying the whole time. Like, what's wrong with you guys? Like, of course we should be doing this. We need to do a lot more because, again, it's a country that is massive here. But I just see, like, again, that underpriced real estate. I keep seeing, I said, our product is so good. Yeah. I know, and I'm waiting for the landscape of the neighborhood to change. And I'm like, one day, the rest of you are going to see that this league is the best league. It should be because of the quality that we have, the history that we have. Nobody's got this foundation like we have. And I want to give credit to the English League because they did the work to get to this point. They earned the right to have all of these fans and to be doing these fan fests all around America and have millions of people watching. So, yeah, my goal is simply that. I love this league to death. And on a broader level, because now with CBS, they have a 24/7 streaming service, the Golazzo Network, which covers because they have Champions League rights and all different leagues. So I have to become more worldly, and I have to pick pieces because it's actually a smart thing if you think about it. If you want to talk to a fan of the Premier League, you also should be able to relate Serie A to a Premier League team. right? You could say West Ham in England, which I've learned now is similar to Fiorentina in Italy, where the West Ham fans have such high expectations of their club. Meanwhile, they don't really win that much, yet the pressure is really high there. So you understand why that club is important. And then when my friend is telling me this, that played for West Ham, I work with him, Nigel, he tells me, oh, that's kind of like what you're telling me about Fiorentina. They have such high expectations. So you need to be able to wrap all this around. So for me, that's kind of what's been on my mind the last 12 months or so. I need to become even more worldly about the rest of the leagues to help promote Serie A as well. And yeah, that's simply
Your understanding
simply
of
my
the sport
goal.
of a whole.
Which
Yeah,
I
as a
have it,
whole.
but
Yeah.
I love going deep. Like I love finding out these little stories about
The storylines matter. I mean, the story with
100%.
sports
Especially
teams, the storylines definitely matter.
Especially when you're presenting on television.
For me, I'm a sucker for a good story. I love a story more than I love anything, more than even the tactics of the game, because you show why you're invested. I went to Roma, is an amazing team. Roma, you don't understand what Roma means until you go to a game. And you got 70,000 people singing songs. You got grown men crying over a game.
Yeah.
Little kids, tears streaming down their face because their team, they lost the game, yet they still show up every single day. And in Italy, it's not that easy. Italy, financially, a lot of these people suffer. They
Those
will
games are expensive.
they go and buy tickets to the game because that's what matters in their
Italians don't
culture.
buy tickets to nothing.
Yeah,
But
I
they
was
go to
gonna
the
say.
games and they
Yeah.
fill up no matter what. Win, lose, draw, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Roma fans turn up to the stadium.
I love
So
that.
for me, I have to be able to understand that, and I want to transmit that into why it's so important for these people. It's not just a ball that's rolling.
Help people understand that passion.
You have to understand that. If you don't understand that, because for example, Roma, they won Conference League, which is a lesser competition. And everybody in the world was like, Roma's such a big name. Why are they celebrating that they won the Conference League? But you don't get it. This team never wins. This team barely wins.
Yeah.
You got kids that said, I finally watched my team win a trophy. I watched it with my father. You don't understand the club if you don't understand that.
That's one thing that you said that really stuck out to me was that the way you're talking about the revitalization of Italian soccer. Like I'm a casual soccer fan. Like, you know, I watch obviously all the international games. I know all like the players. One thing I've seen is like I saw the decline in Italian soccer, and what would you say that that's attributed to? Like, is it what you said, like the investment that the Premier League put in the rest of the world? Like, does that all play a role? Because there was a decline.
Resting on your laurels. We were at the top. Everybody, you got to come to me. We don't got to go. We don't have to spread this. We don't have to adapt. We don't have to invest in new technology. We don't need to invest in stadiums. You know the stadium situation in Italy? There's no new stadiums. You go see an old stadium in America, it's the most beautiful thing. In Italy, that would be world class. So when you're at the top, you always need to break it. You could think about this in any career, right? The person who's high up, you always need to reinvent yourself. What are you doing differently? If you just stay the same, you got a guy that's more hungry behind you that's trying to step up and do more. So it was a massive mistake that we did. Italy focused just on Italy. We're an Italian product. We only need to stay there. Meanwhile, Premier League is like, we're going to go all around. You know how many people there are in Asia? You know how many people there are in America? America has high spending power. So they spread their game everywhere, where we were just so targeted on our own country. And that was the biggest thing that backfired on us. And that's one of the issues. But you can relate it in a million different fields. How do you reinvent yourself when you're going up every single week?
Oh yeah. And you're singing music that's 100 years old. And some of the songs that I do are public domain now.
Wow.
So you have to consider, well, how do I breathe new life into it? And I think the way that you do it is, you mentioned how you're so niche because you're the only one for a while who's been presenting it in English. But it's so much more than translating language. You have to translate emotion and history and help people understand that. And I think that's what I meant by that whole presenter spirit as something that I think has always been in you, and now it's coming out. Do you feel as though your analysis of the league and the teams and the games and your fresh perspective, being American and being someone whose opinion used to not matter to the old guard in Serie A and in Italian soccer, do you feel like some of your opinions and some of your insight has shaped anything that the league is doing now? Has there been that long of an arc where, 8-9 years ago, you said something and you said this is a needed change, and now the league is making that change?
And I'm gonna piggyback off of that as well, because my next question kind of has to do with that. Is if you've seen this change and what additional changes need to be made for Italian soccer to be back where it needs to be? Because personally, I don't think it's there yet. That's what I've seen, but it kind of has to do with Sal's question. So
I think so. And I say that because I was that young kid in the offices of the league saying we need to open an office in America. We need to be simple things. We need to be tweeting in English. We need to be putting out fresh content to an audience. And at the time, again, different people in charge, but it was like, are you crazy? No, we're not doing that. And now you see the media landscape, and if you tell it to anybody, they're like, are you crazy? Of course you have to do that. So from the content side, yes, obviously not the pitch, but I just mean in the more worldly side in America, I think so. Whenever
that's a change in the way the league operates. That's
definitely
a critical change. You're not going to change the game.
Yeah.
But
it takes a lot.
But that's a palpable and tangible change. I would say that's a reason to pat yourself on the back.
To Anthony's point, though, it's nowhere near where we need to be, and it takes time. And I always say this, like, obviously Rome wasn't built in a day, is a cliche saying, but same thing like the Premier League, what they did. It took years and years of investment, and then you see the fruits of your labor. You get into shape. I gained a lot of weight recently. I gained like 30 pounds. I go to the gym for 2 weeks. Do you see anything? You don't see anything. No, it takes time. You got to keep working at it for a long time, and then you start to say, oh, wow, okay. You wake up one day and you look in the mirror. Okay, I look a little bit better. It's not that you did that 2 days ago. You missed one meal. It's for some people years of time to get to that point. So I think that they are making good strides. I always hold us to a standard of we should be doing way more. We should be doing way better. I think that luckily CBS understands how we're supposed to be promoting the game. And the thing that I love most, and I can say this honestly, is the respect that was given. Serie A, it was never respected in this country. Really. It was just thrown somewhere. All right. If it goes on, it goes on. It doesn't really matter. Here, we flown to Italy at least 3 times a year. At least 3 times a year. Sometimes more. To be on the ground. To tell the stories of the people. To do interviews with the players. All stuff that sounds very simple, but was not being done for Serie A for a long time. So all of these things matter, but they take time to be able to build. But at least the right people are there. And the right minds are like, this is a really good product. It just needs to be shown to more people.
I can see you having a seat on the board.
I don't know.
I mean,
we'll see.
Look, the way that you present yourself, the way that you talk. I mean, you might be. This is a big statement, but you might be the future of Italian football. Because one thing I've realized about that, as far as the media goes, at least, one thing I realized about Italians in Italy. And obviously, you all know that my business is I guess you can say it's digital media. The Italians in Italy are not about that at all. Preaching
to the choir.
I'm talking about I've worked with pasta brands, huge names, coffee brands, huge names. They don't even know the first thing that they're doing, nor do they want to. They just have a page just to have a page. I'm talking about major, because I don't want to name anyone, so they hate me, but major brands where it just blows my mind that they don't have somewhat of a social media presence, some professional-looking content, some, not even influencers, but they just don't I guess, the American way of really doing things. They want to rest on their laurels, like how you said, if it's 100-year-old coffee brand, they're resting on the fact that it's a 100-year-old coffee brand.
Yeah, and it might work for some time, but then eventually it could catch up to you, and you could have said, "Damn, we could have been laying this foundation for a long time." I think we're also really lucky, Serie A, and again, I always see this is my perspective though, but like I said about destiny and where I'm going, I always felt like the universe works in my favor. I think everybody should think like that. But the fact that we have the best American player, he plays on AC Milan, Christian Pulisic. He is the superstar, probably the best American to ever play the sport. he plays for the league that I cover. And Paramount Plus even has a documentary on him, and you see the behind the scenes. I feel so lucky that we got that too, because I'm meeting people for the first time in my life. I used to only meet Serie A fans. You had to be a son or daughter of an Italian immigrant to watch Serie A. Now I meet people in New York City that's like a Chelsea fan where he's like, oh, I'm watching a lot of Milan games because we got Pulisic. I love Pulisic. He's American. So even that has helped so much. And now Serie A has, I think, the most American players. We got McKennie on Juventus, Musa, Tim Weah. Tim Weah is born here, born in Brooklyn. Pulisic. And they're not just part of a team. Like, they're not just there, oh, look, we're going to use them as promotion. They're, like, dominating. They're like, Pulisic is the best player on Milan. He's the best player for one of, if not the most iconic team in Italian football history. Got 7 Champions Leagues. He is that face. That's crazy to me. And that helps Serie A long-term to promote to Americans. So like you mentioned, where does it go next? It also takes time. It takes time for this to grow. It takes time for people to catch on to the storylines. But at least things are headed in the right direction, in my opinion.
So just to close out, I got one last question for you, and I'm dying to hear your opinion on it because, again, I don't really know enough to kind of make a comment. What are your expectations for the World Cup being here in America, and what are your expectations of Italy?
First of all, we need to qualify. That's been our problem the last 2 World Cups.
Which blows my mind, by the way. I mean, having such a historic impact on like the world of soccer, it's, it kind of leaves me speechless that we haven't been able to qualify twice.
It might be my fault. I might be the mush. I was at the last 2 qualifying games where Italy missed the World Cup. I went to Sweden to watch Italy-Sweden, where we lost. Somehow, nobody ever thought it was possible. And then I was also at the game where Italy lost to North Macedonia to not qualify for the World Cup. 2 games that we should have won like nothing. So I'm not going to go next time to the game to qualify. So if we get to a World Cup, Italy's the weirdest team. Quality-wise, we're not one of the best teams. That's the truth. But usually Italy, when you count us out, we do well for some reason. The Euros, nobody thought we were going to win the Euro. Nobody. Teams were much better on paper, but we had like a magic to us, and there was a chip on a lot of their shoulders. So there's talent within the squad, but not enough, in my opinion, to really put us amongst the best or the favorites, because it's teams like Argentina, England, France, they are so much better than us, footballing wise. But then there's always something. There's always a little bit of magic, and like we've been talking about destiny and things working in your favor. I have a dream that Italy could win a World Cup right here in our backyard in New Jersey, 2026. All your friends and family around you. Can you imagine you're in the stadium and watch that? So there's a part of me that wants to believe, like, oh, it's meant to be. It's all going to lead up to this.
Goosebumps.
Also, in 1994, we weren't born yet, but my father always tells me the story about when Italy lost to Brazil in 1994 over here, and he talks about it with so much pain. And I keep telling myself, how nice would it be if all these years later he could witness Italy winning in New Jersey with his son now, because I wasn't around before. So there's a part of me that believes we're going to do it, and I want to just put it out there that we're going to do it, but all logic says that we don't have a chance.
As long as you don't make the qualifier.
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
Exactly. If I don't go there, maybe.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to speak with you, boys. I got to come out to one of your one night that you're
Come on down.
that you're not too far away.
Come on down, cuz first one's on me.
First, it's amazing. You guys inspire me too. Really, this conversation was amazing. I love what you're building here and your story as well. I followed it from afar, but to hear it right from your mouth is something special.
No, Marco Messina, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, boys.